Hello, it's pkagebein at the Garland County Library, and I'm here today to introduce to you the next program in the Know It to Grow It series with the Garland County Master Gardeners. And I'm here today with our chairperson, Judy Dare. And for the first time, I have Judy here right next to me live in person for one of these.
Hi.
I'm going to let Judy take over here in a minute. She's going to introduce the presenters, the speakers for today's program, which is Don't Hesitate, Irrigate, with our expert irrigators. But if you have any questions or comments during the program, as always, just comment those and we'll read them off to our guest here at the end. So welcome, Judy.
Great to be here. Very strange to be together with Paul. Usually we're 50 miles apart, maybe not that much, but it feels like it. But once again, thanks for joining the program. It's really wild. When we came up with this irrigation topic, we were in the monsoon season and everybody kind of rolled their eyes and said, it's never going to stop raining. Well, it has stopped raining and it stopped for good. So this is the perfect timing. Hopefully you'll get your irrigation in before the next rain comes and not lose your plants and vegetables, which it's very tough to keep buckets of water on those things. The Garland County Master Gardeners are very busy around town. You'll see us at the courthouse. You'll see us at a Garland. You'll see us at schools. You'll see us in a lot of places. But I do want to remind you that we have an Ask a Master Gardener booth at both the farmers markets. So the Green Market at Hot Springs Village is on Thursdays, and they are there from 8:30 to 11. And at the farmers market in Hot Springs on Saturday, we were there from 8 to 12. So if you've got any questions, please come in and ask the Master Gardeners. They have a wealth of knowledge and they always have literature there to pass out. So come see us at either the Hot Springs Village Green Market or the Hot Springs Farmers Market on Saturday. It's tough to say all this stuff, really. Also, please remember that at the Extension office at 236 Woodbine, we can help you out if you're having plant problems. We can do soil testing for you, so you can go in and get a box of, and you put your soil in it and bring it in there. They'll send it off to the state. It'll come back and tell you what nutrients you need in the soil. And if you're like me and you had a wilty tomato plant and wondered what was going on with it, you can wrap it up in paper towels, keep the roots wet, put it in a bag, take it down to the Extension service, and they will send it off, and you'll get a very detailed report on what is wrong with your plant, how to fix it, or how not to fix it in my case, unfortunately. So that is a wealth of knowledge, and I'll tell you what, it's a free program, and anyone can use it, and it's just terrific. Know It to Grow, it's going to take a break in July, so we won't see you until August. But we're going to go out and try to catch up on all the gardening we missed last month. So we'll see you in August. And please remember that the first 3 questions or comments for this will get door prizes that will be at the library tomorrow afternoon. So you can come get your door prizes. And once again, we fill it with, gardening tools and a little tote for you and a lovely little earth keychain just to remind you that we're all here on planet Earth trying to make it a better place. So come get your door prizes tomorrow. They're at the circulation desk. We usually call this the 3 amigos of irrigation, but Jeff Finney could not be with us today, so we miss Jeff, but we'll carry on with 2 amigos, and that is James Moore Jr. and Doc Sedler. Both are Garland County Master Gardeners. James Moore Jr. was born and raised here in Hot Springs. He went to University of Arkansas in Pine Bluff, and after he graduated, he went to work for the State Highway Department and stayed there for 28 years until he retired. He became a Master Gardener in 2012. He and his wife of 35-year plus, is what James says, Mary, have 2 sons and a daughter and 1 grandchild. He loves flowers, plants, and digging in the dirt. And then we have Ross Sedler, who we call Doc. He attended UCLA Irvine and became a neurosurgeon practicing for many years in Lubbock. So he truly is a doc. He also has a degree in botany. So joining the Master Gardeners in 2013 was a perfect fit for him. He retired to Hot Springs 11 years ago with his wife, Ruth, who have been married 53 years this month. So I think that's a great milestone. They have 3 daughters and 3 grandchildren. Now, you'll see James and Doc all over town. They have volunteered countless hours for the Master Gardeners. They work both with Habitat for Humanity and they irrigate. I can't tell you how many places they've irrigated Hope Garden, they irrigate the schools, they teach irrigation classes, and they really know what they're doing. So I hope you get a lot out of it. Today's presentation is going to have both recorded and live segments. So it's going to be a little blend of everything, but as always, we'll have that question and answer period at the end. So don't be shy, ask a question and win a door prize. So I would like to now introduce James and Doc.
Thank you, Judy. I would like to thank Judy and the Know to Grow It Committee and Paul and the Garland County Library for the opportunity of being here today. Our main area of interest is microspray irrigation, and we'll talk about it quite a bit. But the greater area is trying to get the right amount of water to plants and doing it in an efficient manner to preserve our valuable water supply. So if we can move to the slides, please. Effective watering provides a plant with all the water it needs to survive and grow and produce reproductive structures. Efficient watering minimizes water wastage, which helps keep down expenses and helps to preserve water supplies. Efficient and effective watering provides the desired plants with all the water they need, but not anymore, and only where they need it. It does not water leaves and stems, which would then expose them to the risk of fungal and other diseases. It tends to put the water right at the roots of the plant, so you're not watering your weeds. It minimizes water loss to evaporation in the air and loss to wind by delivering the water very close to the ground rather than spraying it in the air. Next, please. If you put up an irrigation system like this, it's important to realize that you need to set it up after all danger of freeze is over, and you need to take it down or drain it before the first freeze. Be prepared to set up on a warm day. I would wear clothes and shoes you don't mind getting wet. You will get wet. I have found plumbing to be very humbling. In the fall, the system can remain set up. It must be drained, and all timers need to be stored indoors. Next, please. Water is a fantastic substance. It arose in the universe as a byproduct of star formation. Water is the only chemical on Earth that is present naturally in the gaseous state as steam, liquid state as water, and the solid state as ice. About 4.5 billion years ago, water existed on Earth only as a gas, and there was no oxygen in the atmosphere. About 1 billion years ago, the Earth cooled enough for liquid water to form. Next. Shortly after the appearance of liquid water, short in geological time, the first signs of life appeared in the fossil record. Water is the medium in which almost all biological reactions occur. Free molecular oxygen appeared in the atmosphere only after photosynthesis evolved about 3 billion years ago in the Great Oxygenation Event. Next. Why do plants need water? The formula you see, CO2 plus water producing sugar and oxygen, is the key to life as we know it. Again, water is the cellular medium from almost all chemical reactions. Water is used to transport essential minerals from the roots to the rest of the plant through the xylem, and to carry sugar and other nutrients to the rest of the plant through the phloem. Transpiration of water from the leaves keeps them cool. Herbaceous plants, those that do not produce wood, require water in order to maintain turgor, or they will wilt and collapse. In a plant, water constitutes about 95% of its weight. A human being of recommended weight, however, is only about 60% water. By comparison, an obese person may only be 15% weight. Next. There's a significant difference between animal cells and plant cells. An animal cell has a plasma membrane that contains all kinds of goodies in it. A plant cell has a large membrane-bound and internal vacuole. And in many plants, that vacuole will occupy 90% or more of the volume of the plant cell. And it's filled almost entirely with water. And when the plant loses water, that vacuole collapses, the plant cell collapses, and that's the basis of wilting. Next, please. Some kids were asked to draw a picture of a plant cell, and this was the winner. Next, please. Fresh water. There's a very limited amount of fresh water available in much of the world. Only 2.5% of the water on Earth is fresh water, and 80% of that is locked up in snow and ice, leaving only 0.5% of the water available in the liquid state. Agriculture accounts for 69% of freshwater withdrawals. Efficiently utilizing fresh water for agriculture dramatically increases the availability of this resource at an affordable cost. Next. Some general thoughts about watering. Established lawns need 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week. New sod needs more. Watering less frequently and deeper, assuming the water is being absorbed and not running off, will encourage turf grass to grow deeper roots. Adequate watering should moisten the soil to a depth of about 6 inches, and this is classically tested with a screwdriver test, where you insert a screwdriver into the soil, and it should be able to penetrate about 6 inches, but not at my house. Landscape plants may need different watering schedules than lawn. Next. Generally, plants in the shade need less irrigation than those in the sun, but there is a big caveat. If the shade is caused by trees, they may need more water because of root competition. A large maple or oak may draw up 100 gallons of water a day from the soil around it. Lawns and gardens on slopes benefit from briefer, repetitive waterings. Clay soils hold more water than sandy or loamy soils, but absorb water more slowly. In general, 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the best time to water as the air temperature is at the lowest and you decrease evaporative loss. The wind is also calmer. A 10-mile-an-hour wind will significantly alter sprinkler coverage. Every spot in the lawn or garden should be covered by at least 2 sprinkler heads. Next. This is a diagram I made, and the black dots in the center represent your sprinkler emitters. And if they just touch, if each zone of sprinkling just touches the other, you see it's impossible to have full coverage. That orange area cannot be covered. So you have to have greater overlap. Next. So ideally, you should have about 100% sprinkler overlap. That is, each sprinkler should hit the sprinkler next to it. Next. People have been working on ways to move water to their plants since the beginning of agriculture. The development of the systems that we are discussing today began in the early 1960s when the necessary rubber and plastic materials became available to make the needed hoses and emitters. The system we will present obtained their water from standard hose connections and utilized flexible rubber or plastic hoses of water to drip hoses or microspray emitters. Next. The benefits of drip irrigation. There's less water loss to evaporation and wind drift, again, because you're delivering the water right to the roots of the plant. You can control the output of water to each plant. Water is delivered directly to the soils and roots, and this keeps your foliage dry and more resistant to disease. Weed germination is also reduced because the water is directed at the base of the desirable plants. These systems are simple to use with a timer to automatically water multiple containers or areas at the same time. Next. The system is very flexible. More emitters, as drippers, can be added simply using couplers and additional tubing. Installation and maintenance are easily performed because components are above ground and because flexible rubber and plastic components require less skill to work on than metal or PVC. In fact, a heavy-duty scissors is probably the only tool you need unless you need a mallet to insert the emitters in the ground. Erosion problems are minimized because there's very little runoff. Next. Everything has disadvantages as well as advantages. The components are exposed to damage from foot traffic, vandalism, rodents, landscaping activities such as mowing and string trimming. I have unfortunately seen squirrels chewing on our tubing and leading to leaks. There's a tripping hazard, and this is particularly important. You don't want to cross walkways. The emitters are prone to getting clogged by small dirt particles. As with other forms of irrigation arising from public water supply used for potable water, a backflow prevention valve is needed to prevent contamination of drinking water. in case there's a break or leak in a water main. And this is similar to the RPC valves that most people have on their lawns here. Next. Now, this is a picture of the hose bib faucet at my house. And this comes with a built-in anti-siphon device. You can see off the lower left corner, it says anti-siphon. And if you are blessed with a system like this, then you don't need to add another backflow preventer. I have heard, but I don't know for a fact, that most of the houses in the village are required to have this type of hose bib. Next. This is the first system I installed, and this is along my garage. And I put this in over Labor Day weekend of 2013. You can see that there's a Y splitter there, so I can attach a hose to one side. The other side goes to a timer, and then there's the green hose that runs down and goes up the side of the garage wall. Next. And you can see how it comes up, and about 3/4 of the way up, the 1/2-inch black tubing, you'll see the little 1/4-inch tubing looping around above my garage doors. Next. And then using T-connectors, there are hoses that come down and go to the water pots. This whole thing kind of sticks out like a sore thumb when you know it's there, but really no one notices it unless you point it out to them. Next. And see, here's the entire system. Next. I think we do have the movie now. In the summer, I have that system set up with a timer. In the winter, I can just hook it up with a quick disconnect. This has been running pretty much all the time for the last 7 years. In the winter, I just put it on, turn it on. And these two sprinklers, little emitters, they run for 2 to 3 minutes twice a day. The plants will do fine, and there'll be water running out of the bottom of the pots. I use electrical staples to attach the tubing to the garage, and I also use it to run it up trees. Thank you, and go back to the slides, please. I can run it up trees for hanging baskets. This is in the back of my house, and this is instead of a Y splitter, this is a manifold, and a very similar system. Next. When I run a long distance, rather than using any of the tubing that comes in the kit you will see shortly, I use regular hoses, and that's because they are much more durable. They tolerate being stepped on, and they last a long time. And I attach them with 2-hole straps, and you'll find this where they have electrical conduit. Next. And all of my systems involve containers, and I use these small micro emitters. Next. Again, in the summer, there are hanging baskets there, and I attach the tubing with electrical staples. Next. So here's a picture in the summer, and all these plants are all being watered by a micro spray system. You can see the little yellow and blue herb garden getting its water supply. And this is a whole lot more convenient than walking around with a watering can or a hose. Next. Again, all of the plants you see here in the containers are being watered with this system. Next. Now, this is a system that we set up at the Garland County Fairgrounds, and this uses a different emitter. These are called water stakes, and this is what you would use in a non-container garden or an outdoor garden. Next. We'll reiterate this a number of times, but the kit that you buy does not come with a pressure regulator. And I can't tell you why, because you can't use it without one. So you get the kit, get a pressure, buy a pressure regulator. They come in 2 pressures, 25 PSI for the drippers that you use in containers, the micro drippers, and 50 PSI for the stakes that you use in an outdoor garden. Next. Timers are wonderful. These timers run on 2 AA batteries. There are a whole lot of brands. This one comes from Amazon. They are remarkably easy to set up. I have several of them. The 2 AA batteries last the whole summer, and there's an indicator there of how well the batteries are doing. Next, the 2-hole straps you can use to run either hose or 1/2-inch tubing. Next. If you are using a timer, you need to have very solid connections to your hose bib, or you will be wasting water and soaking your foundation. The things that you want to do when you hook this up is to use thread tape. It's very inexpensive. You use about 10 inches of it. If your hose washers are the least bit questionable, you want to put in new hose washers. They're also very inexpensive. And a channel lock pliers really allows you to get a tight fit. Next. Last one. Okay. I think we can show the movie.
Bring your laptop down a bit. Perfect.
So in this video, we will show one of our master gardeners, Paula's garden, and demonstrate how you unpack the kit. Comes with a little CD that shows you how to set it up. They have an attractive young lady with a big smile on her face setting all of this up in about 10 minutes. And Mr. Landscaper also has a website that again shows you how to apply.
Keep talking a little bit about
Okay.
the things you've done.
The way you run the tubing over length, if you don't want to use the hoses, use 1/2-inch tubing. And sometimes in this video that's coming up, we'll refer to it as black tubing, but it's 1/2-inch tubing. And you can use various kinds of connectors, elbows and T-connectors, and move this around in all kinds of ways. You can attach the emitters to the tubing very easily. And again, you will see this in the movie. You punch a hole with a hole punch, and then you simply insert this, and it works. For the 1/4-inch tubing, the narrower tubing that you use to deliver to the emitters, they also have elbows and T's. You can operate 2 or more, although I recommend not going more than 2 emitters from one line. And they even make little on-off valves. So you could water this one twice a day and maybe this one once a day.
I'm Ross Sedler. I've been a master gardener since 2013. James Moore, Jeff Finney, and I have put in multiple systems like this, both at our own homes as well as in several schools and city parks. The system we've used is available at Lowe's, and that's where this came from. And I'm going to do an unboxing and show you how you can set your own system up. Okay, so when you get the kit, you'll open it up. You'll have this 1/2-inch tubing, and there'll be a bag, parts. What you want to do first is use your faucet. If you're going to use a timer, you put the timer on next. Or if not, at the end of the timer of the faucet, you put this device here, which is a backflow preventing valve. Now, some houses, like where I live, and a lot of people live in the village, your hose bibs already have a backflow prevention. But if not, you put this on first. The next thing that needs to be connected is a pressure reducing valve, and that does not come in the kit. You have to buy it separately. They come in either as 25-pound regulators or 50-pound regulators. You can also get them on Amazon for about half the price. It's at Lowe's. One of the beauties of this system is that it runs both on low pressure and low volume. So that would then attach next. Then, from this bag, you get a coupler that will allow you to couple it to the black tubing. So this black tubing is what you run around your yard, and that attaches on here. And you tighten it, and it's a pressure coupling. You run this as far as you need to. It can be a few feet, or it could be 100 feet. If you decide you want to divide, you use a T-joint, put that on here, and then other pieces of black tubing off to one side or the other. When you've run your entire length, you use an end crimp to crimp this off so that all the water doesn't run out the end. So this will get you your conduction system. Now, to attach your emitters, basically, they're in two types. This type here you put in the ground if you are doing your garden. And this type, which is what I use at my house, is great for containers, or you can put them on individual plants. You can adjust the volume that comes out by turning this cap, and you can go anywhere from half a gallon to about 10 gallons an hour. Generally, if I have a large container, one of these will water it in about 4 minutes. And you know it's water because water comes out of the bottom of the container. So, you attach this to 1/4-inch tubing, which is much more flexible. And on the other end, you put a coupler or connector. And then the way you attach it to this 1/2-inch conducting tubing is you take this device which comes in the kit, puncture a hole, and then this connector, and this 1/4-inch tubing could be any length you want. I have some that runs 10 or 15 feet. Will pop in. It'll make a decidable pop, and your system is ready to go. And you can run off as many as 10 or 20 or even 30 emitters of various sorts. The tubing. In addition to these T joints, there are also right elbows, so you can turn at right angles. Additionally, they make a whole variety of T's and angled connectors to use with a 1/4-inch tubing. In order to keep this simple, when I go to put it in a system or to repair it, I have this box containing all kinds of mayonnaise or peanut butter jars. And each one is labeled. This one says 1/4-inch T's. And this one's 1/2-inch straight connectors. And it just makes things much easier to move along. When you connect to your hose bib or hose faucet, ideally you should use plumber's tape. And that will make a much better connection because, especially if you're on a timer, this is going to be turned on all the time. And you surely don't want to have a leak. If we're doing an extensive system, if you're doing your whole yard, or as we've done for the schools, I will go through and make a schematic diagram. It doesn't look much like the real site. Noticing where the various T's and elbows need to be. And then go through there and make a list of how many of each things we need. 1/2-inch hose, 250 feet, 2 elbow connectors, 3 end crimps. And that way, if you need more than is in the kit, you can get it all at once. And again, you can either get it from Lowe's or you can get it for the same price at the company that makes these, which by name is his name Mr. Landscaper, which is a play on words because these are misters. Other important things to remember when you get a kit is it doesn't come with a pressure regulator, so you have to get that separately. And while it comes with multiple stakes like this, it does not come with these small emitters, and so you would need to get those, and it does not come with any 1/4-inch tubing. Now, if you're just using these, you may not need the 1/4-inch tubing because they already attach. This little thing on the top here, that's what determines whether it's a 1/4-inch, a 1/2-inch, obviously a 1/4 circle or a 1/2 circle, and you get a variety of them.
Good afternoon. As you may know, I'm James Moore, and I will also work with Doc and Jeff, and we have several others who normally assist us when it's time to install the irrigation system. We probably started about 2013 or 14 at the Garland County Extension Office. They was having a big problem in trying to get the plants and flowers watered, especially during the spring and summertime. And so we, young master gardener, had an idea of how we were going to be able to install the system. So he brought out all the equipment, and it was a very fun, interesting project because once we hooked the system up to the hydrant, we went up to the top of the roof with a 1/2-inch line. Then from the roof, we went across to another tree, and then from another tree to another tree, and then we came down to those various sections where we were able to water our plants and flowers. So that was the first time that we got started in the irrigation system.
That was the late great Bill Staten who taught both of us how to do this.
Yeah, right. And we really enjoyed his presentation, and we learned a lot from him. And from that point on, since that period of time, we probably have installed many irrigation systems. We have installed at least 3 for the city, 2 along the Gulf Gorge Walkway. We have installed 1 out at the Energy Park, and we have installed at least 2 or 3 at the various elementary middle schools. And we just recently installed 1 at the Main Street School at the Butterfly Garden. And so each one is very interesting. Sometimes it's a different kind of system. Sometimes it's different layouts. And normally Jeff and Doc, they will normally look at the project and they'll lay it out. And of course, I'm the gopher, so I normally wind up going out to Lowe's, picking up the materials that's needed, and then bringing it back, and then we can get started. I like to call it to your attention, no matter how you might lay the system out, and you might as well get prepared to visit Lowe's at least 2 or 3 times in order to make sure you got everything that is needed. Sometimes you'll leave Lowe's and you might have forgot something, you wind up coming back. But just be prepared to have patience, and I think you really, really will enjoy the system. And now we've let you look at a film at one of the homes that we installed that system. My name is James Moore Jr., and I have been a master gardener since 2012. Probably several years ago, we were taught how to do the above ground irrigation system. And I would say over the past several years, we have started off at the extension office, putting an above ground irrigation system at the extension office. We have did 2 projects for the city, Xeriscape, also Energy Park. We have also installed above ground irrigation systems at private homes, residents, which we are here today, this evening, showing you how to put one in up at Paula's house. So right now, I would just like to show you how to get started with the irrigation system, some of the items that you're going to need. And really, it's a fun project, and you can go to various parts of your house, water your plants, and also you can extend it based on how far you would like the system to go. So right now, I would just like to show you about where to hook it to your faucet, the timer, and then we will show how Paula has extended her above ground irrigation system around her house. So right now, if you don't mind, just follow me to the water fountain. And you'll see at the water faucet, she attached the timer to the water faucet. She had this timer here. You can set it. When you set the timer, you're going to do the date. Also, you're going to set the clock. You're going to set a time to start. Paula has to start at about 6 o'clock. So I think she has to go for about 20 minutes, how long. And then also you can do it either 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. And then you just turn it back to automatic, and then it has set itself, and you don't have to worry about coming back, worrying about the timer. The only time you might have a concern with the timer is that when the battery runs low, you'll get an indication, and then you just have to replace the battery. Also, it has a manual on here, so if you want to water without worrying about the timer, then you just hit manual, the water will come on, it shows you how long, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you can water manually if that is the case. And you can see that she also extended a wire because she's trying to water two areas at her yard. So this area right here, she has water right here. She has attached the sprinkler to it, and she has attached this black tubing is a 1/2 inch, and then she has attached a 1/4 inch to the sprinkler, and now she's able to water this particular area. And I'm gonna say that this is probably a 1/2. You get a full circle or 1/2. But this is probably 1/2 because all you need to do is water this particular area. Also, you can see the line, the black line is going to another area, which is this area right here. Again, she has attached it to the black line. And then this is the faucet sprinkler system. This is a full circle, so that means it's going to get the full area, this area right here. Then she decided to come off into another area of her yard, which is right south. So she attached another black line right here. And this has a 3-way black line, and then right here. So she's gonna come off, go all the way across her yard. She's gonna come right here, and she attached the black line, and then she's gonna be able to provide water all around her tree. And then also she's gonna come back, and then she's going to continue with a black line around this area. And also it has a little gadget that you can shut off the 1/2 inch so you won't continue to run. And then Paula decided also she wanted some other areas to be watered. So that's because of the wire. She came off in this area. Again, she has a black line, a 1/2 inch. Right now she has attached again, another sprinkler system, the half-inch, the quarter-inch, I'm sorry. Right here, she has one right here, and most of these are full circles. So that means she's watering a full circle around these particular areas. Then, as we go around this maple, and with her continuing process, she has a black line. Here's the black line here. She decided to go up under her guard right here. She's coming off right here. And then she's going to other areas of a garden to the left of me, all the way down to the maple down at that particular tree. So that's how she has extended. And the good thing about how she has applied it is that you will get water to all these areas without problem. I also want to show you on one of these plants, you decided to do a drip line. So for this particular flower right here, she decided to do attachment, and she just got a drip on this end right here. Really, she has had a chance to adjust it, and now in this particular area, all this water will do is just get a drip, which is good also. Also, I want to introduce you to this caterpillar, and hopefully soon it will turn into a butterfly. Again, this is part of my presentation, so now we will stop it at this time.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That was excellent, very informative, and well done on your video quality there. Looks like our viewers were shy today, so we didn't have any live questions, but I think Judy here has a question.
I do have a question. First of all, I'd like to thank Doc and James for what they did for Hope Garden. And Hope Garden is a garden that we decided to do last year to try to help food insecurity in Hot Springs. And without Doc and James coming out and putting in the irrigation system, we would not have had a successful garden. And they came out and got it done in no time. And it's worked great. We've added to it. They told us they were going to teach us how to do it, and then we had to teach the next crew how to do it. So that's what we did, and we've expanded the service, and it really has worked out well, and I thank you for that. Now, how much just for a basic kit should we be looking at paying? And where would you suggest us getting those kits?
I believe the basic kit, the one that I unboxed, is around $35. They have them at Lowe's. I believe they have Mr. Landscaper products on Amazon. You can also get them from the company, and I believe if your order is over $35 or $50, they will ship for free. Again, you still need to buy a pressure regulator, and they seem to be coming down in price. I think most recently they were about $8 or $9. You can probably, if you are just doing a system like along your walkway, you could probably get by for around $50. Timers are around $25 if you want to add a timer. Some of the more extensive projects that we have done, like along the Greenway or at the entrance to Energy Park, where we have hose running in a variety of different directions, they can run up around $250 or $300 for parts.
And do you suggest mulching over your equipment so you can kind of hide that? Is that what you normally do with your landscape?
Yes, you can go ahead and do mulch over the half-inch. And you saw at your young lady's house, she was probably going to come in later on to put mulch over so that half-inch line would not be as visible. And also, certainly, we have also had occasions where some individual either get a 50 or 75-foot water hose, and they'll run the water hose, and then they'll connect the half-inch line to the area where they want to irrigate. So sometimes you might want to think of purchasing a water hose in order based on the length and how far you might have to go.
Very good. Well, thank you. That's all I really have, and I really appreciate y'all being here. And I just want to thank the library again for being such great sponsors, and it's great to be here with Paul. Yep. And thank you all, Master Gardeners that are watching, and everybody else. If anyone wants to be a Master Gardener, we'd love to have you. We're starting our meetings again live next month at the Elks, so you are welcome to join. There will be no lunch, but we will have our meeting there at 12:30. And if you would like to pick up an application to be a Master Gardener, please go to that favorite spot, the Extension office at 236 Woodbine, when you take your soil and plants in. That's all I've got. Thanks a bunch, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Take care.